Just imagine, you walk past a bakery and suddenly that sweet smell hits you. Or maybe you open a bag of chips and before you know it, the whole thing's gone. You tell yourself, I'll stop after one bite, but somehow your brain doesn't agree. So what's really going on? Why does junk food feel so good? And why can't we stop eating it even when we know it's bad for us? In this videocast, we are diving deep into the science of cravings and how food companies literally hack your brain to keep you hooked.
Okay, picture this. It's late, you're finally winding down, maybe watching TV, and bam, this specific overwhelming urge hits you. Not just general hunger, right? It's like a laser beam for salty chips. Or maybe, rich chocolate. It's powerful. And often right after dinner. So today we're doing a deep dive. We got some really interesting source material here, packed with the latest neuroscience on, well, exactly that, food cravings. And look, this isn't about feeling guilty or starting some new diet. It's really about understanding why our brains seem to demand these specific things, often at the worst times.
Exactly. Our goal today is to get past just noticing the urge itself. We want to unpack what's really going on underneath the biology, the psychology, even the environment, all those triggers. And the big question, really the core thing these sources tackle is this. Is that intense desire a signal your body actually needs fuel? Or is it just your brain chasing, a familiar pleasure hit? Getting that difference clear is, well, it's everything if you want to manage your relationship with food better. It's the foundation.
Right. Let's dig into that distinction straight away then, because the sources lay out a pretty clear line between actual hunger and craving. Hunger, that's your body talking. Simple as that. Low energy, you get signals like, your stomach growling, maybe feeling a bit weak or headachy. And when you eat, pretty much any decent food works. It fills the gap. You feel full, job done. Satiety kicks in.
But a craving, that's totally different, isn't it? It's super specific. Like you could have just finished a big healthy lunch, feel totally full, but your mind is just locked on to, say, ice cream or those pretzels. It's not about a lack of nutrients. The sources are clear. This is about pleasure seeking, sensory input.
Yeah.
And what's really wild is that just thinking about the food can start the physical reaction. Your mouth waters, maybe your stomach even does a little flip. That's your brain's reward system already jumping the gun, basically.
Yeah.
Getting ready for that dopamine rush it remembers. It's a learned loop, not really a survival signal in that moment.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question. Why is it always let's be honest, the junk food? Why aren't people reporting intense cravings for, I don't know, broccoli or a bowl of plain oats?
Well, that goes way back. It's all about our evolution and this pretty powerful reward system in the brain. It's wired for survival. See, for our ancestors, finding high-calorie food, think sugar, fat, salt, that was absolutely critical, could literally mean surviving or not. So our brains evolved to give us a huge reward for eating those things. A big hit of dopamine. And dopamine isn't just about feeling good. It's more like a pay attention and repeat this signal. It tells your brain, wow, that ice cream, sweet, cold, creamy, that was way better than expected. Remember how you got that. Do it again.
So we're basically fighting our own history here, an evolutionary glitch almost. Thousands of years ago, finding that extra bit of fat or sugar was a win. You stored energy for lean times. Those who did that, they survived, passed on those genes. Makes sense.
Exactly. But the paradox now is, well, it's kind of a disaster, frankly. We're surrounded by cheap, easy, high-calorie food everywhere, nonstop. Yet our brains, still running that old survival program, pushing us to load up on calories we absolutely don't need, hence the constant cravings.
Okay, so that ancient system is still active, and modern life just throws fuel on the fire.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the sources point very strongly to internal factors like sleep and stress, really messing with this system. Take sleep, for instance. Get less than, say, 7 or 8 hours of decent sleep. Your whole hormonal balance gets thrown off. Specifically, Ghrelin, that's the hormone that says I'm hungry, goes up. At the same time, leptin, the I'm full hormone, it drops.
Oh, wow. So you feel hungrier and less satisfied?
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's the double whammy.
Yeah.
It almost automatically pushes you towards seeking quick, easy energy off of the sugary, fatty stuff. Comfort food.
And then you add stress on top of that.
Oh, yeah. Stress makes it even worse.
Yeah.
High cortisol levels. our main stress hormone, they don't just make us generally hungry. They seem to specifically steer us towards high-fat, high-sugar foods.
I thought this bit was really interesting. The sources mention these comfort foods can actually trigger opioid peptides in the brain, like a temporary self-soothing thing.
That's right. It's a short-term fix. So reaching for that cupcake when you're anxious about a deadline, your brain is kind of trying to medicate itself in a way, trying to dial down the anxiety. It's clever, but maladaptive in the long run.
So you've got this internal hormonal storm brewing, and then the food industry steps in.
And exploits it. Perfectly put. We're not just dealing with tasty food. We're often dealing with food that's been engineered to be irresistible, almost addictive. We really need to talk about hyperpalatable foods and this idea of the bliss point.
Bliss point sounds nice, but probably isn't.
Right. It means food scientists have figured out the exact combination of sugar, fat, and salt, sometimes even texture, that triggers the maximum pleasure response in our brains. It creates this maximum dynamic contrast. It lights up those reward pathways in a way that, say, an apple just can't compete with. Think about a perfectly engineered chip or cookie.
That's kind of disturbing. They're built to hijack our brains.
In a sense, yes. Take potato chips. It's not just salt and fat. It's the crunch, followed by how quickly they dissolve in your mouth, that meltability.
What does the dissolving part do?
It tricks your brain. It's called vanishing caloric density. If something dissolves fast, your brain gets the pleasure signal, but doesn't register that you've actually eaten much substance. So your satiety signals, the ones that say, okay, enough now, they get bypassed. It encourages you to keep eating because the pleasure is high, but the feeling of fullness lags behind.
Wow, okay. And sometimes it's not even about the food itself, but just habit.
Exactly. Learned associations, a habit loop. Your brain connects a certain cue, an activity, a time of day, a place with the reward of that specific food. Maybe turn on the TV is your cue for chips.
Yeah.
Every single time. Or that 3 p.m. slump at work. Maybe it's not really hunger or even stress. Maybe it's just routine.
Like clock hits 3, brain says chocolate time.
Precisely. The craving feels automatic because your brain is just running the program. Cue-routine reward. It's predicting the pleasure based on the trigger.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. Why does truly understanding and managing this matter so much? Beyond, fitting into our clothes, what are the bigger stakes here if these cravings run wild?
Well, the implications are pretty significant. We all know the immediate health risks, right?
Yeah.
Frequent high-fat, high-sugar intake leads to weight gain, issues like type 2 diabetes, heart problems. The list goes on. But there's a deeper cost, something the sources really emphasize, the potential for actual brain rewiring.
Rewiring? That sounds serious. What does that mean exactly?
It means that constant bombardment with these hyperpalatable foods can actually change how your brain's reward system functions. It sort of overwhelms the dopamine pathways.
Yeah.
Over time, the brain can adapt by becoming less sensitive. It's a process called downregulation, basically. It reduces the number or sensitivity of dopamine receptors.
You need more to get the same effect.
Exactly. You need more and more of that high-sugar, high-fat food just to feel the same level of pleasure or satisfaction. It's very similar to the tolerance we see in addiction.
Wow.
And this whole process really messes with your body's natural ability to regulate hunger and fullness.
Right.
If you're always overriding those subtle leptin and ghrelin signals with these massive engineered pleasure hits,
Yeah.
your body can eventually develop resistance to those signals, like leptin resistance, where your brain stops properly recognizing the I'm full message. That can lead to chronic overeating. It's a tough cycle to break.
Okay, that is definitely heavy. But the good news, thankfully, is that the sources don't just leave us there. They offer practical ways to manage this. Not about deprivation, more about smart strategies, interrupting those loops.
Yes, absolutely. It's about regaining control, not necessarily eliminating desire altogether. And the first step, the most powerful one, is cultivating self-awareness. Notice your triggers. You need to become a bit of a detective about your own cravings. Ask yourself, exactly when did this urge pop up? What just happened? Was I scrolling social media? Did I just finish a stressful email? Did I sleep poorly last night?
So identifying the cue is key.
It is. Because if you know the cue, you have a chance to intervene before the automatic habit takes over. You create a little space.
Okay, so once you know the trigger, what's next? Changing the environment seems like a big one in the sources.
Huge. Change your environment. Look, if the tempting stuff is right there, easily accessible, willpower is eventually going to fail, especially when you're tired or stressed. The sources strongly suggest creating what they call a friction barrier. Make it harder to get the unhealthy stuff and easier to get the healthier options.
Like keep fruit on the counter, hide the cookies in the back of the cupboard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or better yet, don't buy the cookies often in the first place. Make healthier choices. Yogurt, nuts, fruit the easy, default option. One source mentioned someone swapping their evening chip habit with making herbal tea and doing stretches.
Could the tea replace the pleasure of the chips?
Not directly, no. But the new routine replaced the old routine. It broke the link between the cue, sitting down to watch TV, and the automatic reward. Chips. That's the key.
Got it. What else? Sleep and stress came up earlier.
Crucial. Strategy number 3. Prioritize sleep and manage stress. Given how much hormones get disrupted, aiming for that solid 7-8 hours of sleep consistently, that might be the single best anti-craving strategy there is. And for stress, find non-food coping mechanisms. Before you reach for comfort food, try something else. A quick walk outside, a few deep breaths like box breathing maybe, call someone you trust.
Anything that lowers cortisol without reinforcing that stress equals sugar connection.
Precisely. Break that link.
Okay, strategy 4 sounds simple, but maybe hard in practice. Practice the pause.
Deceptively simple, yes. When that craving screams, now W, the idea is to deliberately wait, just 5 or 10 minutes. Don't give in immediately.
And what do you do in those 5 minutes? Stare at the wall.
No, do something else. Drink a big glass of water, get up and walk around, stretch. Anything to just interrupt the immediate impulse. That small delay gives your rational brain, your prefrontal cortex, a chance to catch up with the impulsive emotional part. It lets you make a choice instead of just reacting automatically.
And the sources say cravings often just fade if you wait.
Surprisingly often, yes. Many cravings are intense but short-lived if you don't feed them right away. They peak and then subside.
Interesting. Okay, one last major strategy from the sources.
Yes, foundational nutrition. Eat balanced meals. Make sure your main meals are solid. Plenty of protein, good fiber, whole food, things that keep you genuinely full and satisfied. When your body feels consistently nourished and stable, your brain is less likely to send out those panicky, urgent energy-needed NWO signals that manifest as intense cravings for quick fixes.
Right, it reduces the underlying biological pressure.
Exactly. You're taking away one of the potential triggers.
This has been incredibly clarifying. Okay, let's try to boil this down. The main takeaway seems to be that next time the urge for chips or chocolate hits hard, pause lying. Remember, it's probably not your body screaming for nutrients. It's more likely your ancient brain wiring getting tripped up by modern life, stress, habits, engineered food, chasing that reliable dopamine hit it remembers.
Cravings feel powerful. Absolutely. But they are driven by predictable patterns. And because they're predictable, they are manageable. It comes down to those factors we can influence. Our sleep, how we handle stress, the habits we build, and importantly, the food environment we create for ourselves. It's not about total war on cravings, it's about understanding them, so you are in the driver's seat.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Knowing that so many foods today are deliberately engineered to tap into, even override, our basic survival instincts. What's one small change you can make in your environment, starting today, to give your ancient reward system a bit more protection from this modern onslaught of temptation? Something to think about.
Junk food isn't just tasty, it's engineered to control your brain. From the salt that spikes your dopamine to the sugar that lights up your reward system, every bite is designed to make you want more. So next time that craving hits, just remember, it's not your willpower that's weak. It's your brain chemistry being tricked. I'm so glad you joined me today. If you learned something new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who loves snacks a little too much.